A green future isn't turbines, it's modern economic theory. Like, it's understanding that resources have more value in the ground than they do extracting them. And then going from there and forming a whole new economic system based on that. And Quebec would be able to use things like its own resources to be able to not extract them, but hedge the wealth that it has, while also allowing Indigenous nations to also hedge that wealth without needing to destroy their land. One of the things that King Charles read in the Carney government throne speech was him talking about an unprecedented economic transformation. And he wasn't announcing anything new. He was giving like the cover for it. Basically, what it is a glorified subsidy to pipeline projects, US-led green capitalism, and where many provinces across Canada dig up resources like lithium, and so Ontario can build electric vehicles in Michigan. It's very much like a PR stunt where the crown is pretending to be future-facing, so nobody notices that the country still belongs to the British Empire. It's very much like a bait and switch. The old empire's green face. But Quebec doesn't have to play along with this. Quebec has the urgency, the resources, the skills, and because it's a bi-judicial legal system, the power. And Ottawa's plan here is basically like a green NAFTA, like your public money funding projects that are tailored to American tariffs, Pentagon procurement, and Wall Street risk models. And again, if you look at the province of Quebec, Quebec has hydro, aerospace, a top tier tech sector. But as long as Ottawa is holding the purse, it's just building someone else's future. Like, independence isn't a side quest. It's how you stop being subcontracted into somebody else's empire. And if they want to talk about, instead of operating north south, start operating east west, I have the solution for this. And the solution is this. If Mark Carney still worships the International Monetary Fund, Wall Street, the European Investment Bank, a sovereign Quebec should just join BRICS. It's that simple. And apply for a new development bank, which is green development money without IMF austerity, trade routes that don't end up having to go through Washington or Ottawa, and a voting seat in a bloc that is designed to end Western monopoly power. If you want an economic transition that's actually unprecedented, stop asking for permission from the same institutions that have built this entire mess. Because when Ottawa talks about like de-risking strategy, it means public cash guarantees private profits. That's what it's talking about. In the case of Quebec, Quebec could use the same green dollars to build public infrastructure. Co-ops, not BlackRock, housing retrofits, not real estate speculation, and Indigenous-led wind and solar-led projects, not foreign-owned lithium mines. If you were able to stack the revenue of things like Hydro-Quebec, you would be able to build for public good, not for corporate dividends, which is what the rest of Canada is doing. And the problem right now is that there's federal net zero policies that let foreign companies that are staffed with temporary workers who are going in and pillaging unceded Indigenous land. With Quebec, Quebec could codify free, prior, and informed consent into every contract that is made. And it would make union wages non-negotiable. It would create tri-national projects with Brazil or with China that help pay living wages and respect Indigenous land rights. And climate transition without decolonization, in this sense, is just extraction in a different color. And that's what Canada is talking about. And Quebec, because of being a bi-judicial legal system, take a different path. And that's obviously what Alberta is going to try to do. But Alberta has like a whole other approach to this. And the answer to Alberta's approach is what I'm talking about. Because a green future isn't turbines, it's modern economic theory. Like, it's understanding that resources have more value in the ground than they do extracting them. and then going from there and forming a whole new economic system based on that. And Quebec would be able to use things like its own resources to be able to not extract them, but hedge the wealth that it has, while also allowing Indigenous nations to also hedge that wealth without needing to destroy their land. And so that's the thing. That's the bottom line about everything that being said in regards to like the green transition, because green transition is just colonial capitalism with a new way to charge the batteries. And Quebec doesn't have to do that. Quebec, because of its, again, bijudicial legal system, doesn't need to greenwash subordination. Quebec can aim higher. And this is what I'm talking about, is economic hedging through BRICS, not this NAFTA 2.0, green credibility from south to south solidarity, not NATO PR, and then real sovereignty, not a king, no International Monetary Fund, no predatory loans, no gatekeepers. And so if the Carney government, voiced through King Charles, wants to talk about unprecedented economic transitions, this is the one that you can really back. Yeah.